Now we're going to talk about the outliner, and this is a way to organize your scene. And if you haven't watched the Intro to Maya video, then you can check it out over here at the top right corner. And if you have any questions, be sure to hit me up on Discord, and remember to like the video and subscribe and comment asking any other questions. Another thing you should know about is the outliner. So basically this will give you the list of objects in your scene. So sometimes Maya will open up without the outliner, so it might open up like this, and then you can open up the outliner by hitting this over here. So let's just delete all this stuff. So if I add an object, you'll see it pop up over here, and it's called PC cylinder, and you'll see over here in the attributes it's PC cylinder and PC cylinder shape. So if I double click on here and name it pipe, you can rename it there, and then you'll see it change the name in its attributes as well. So pipe and pipe shape. This is how you can organize your scene. So if I add a cube, you can see it pop up over here, and if I select both, it's selecting everything in here, and I press Ctrl G, I put them into a group. Now I can rename that group as well, so objects. But then underneath, which are called the children of the group, you'll see the pipe and the cube in there. So if I select a group, you have all of them, which you can actually set its own attributes in here. So if I was to do, let's just say I move it around, you'll see that the translations have changed, but the individual objects information has stayed the same, 0, 0, 0. So if I move the pipe around, you'll see that move, but then these stay the same in the group. So if I put this back to 0, 0, put the group back to 0, 0, it puts the pivot point of the group to 0, 0, but since I had moved this around, it offsets that because the pipe's information translation is still there. That is not moving. That's why I group the cameras and in its own group and a camera by itself when I'm trying to match the set. This gives you separate controls for each. And you can organize things with this as well. So if you're building a set, you could possibly have, let's say, FG for foreground, right? And then I duplicate the group, which would duplicate everything inside of it. And I say this would be there, and this could be midground, right? And I can even make a group inside of a group. Let's say I duplicate those, right? And I'm pushing them all the way over here. I can group it within a group and name that left or midground left. Then I can even duplicate all this, put it over here, and if I want to split that even more, I can group these, select these objects. So that, and that. Wait, hold on a second. This one is actually inside there as well. If that happens, you can always press Chpt to get it out of a group, or you can actually, and to put it back inside a group if you lost it, you can select objects and then the group and you can just press P to get them back into it. So right now it's inside the group, or you can also mouse drag out of the group as well. So let's say I put it on top, right? So the group is there and these pieces are there. Now if I want to organize some more, select those controls, select them, or drag and shift select. I can group those together and say this is double click name midground 2, right? And then all these are group, let's double click, midground 1. But even though I group that, I still have the groups inside that group. So you can make it, you can get really organized with your scenes by naming like that and ordering and grouping like that. So that's really useful. And then even if I was to create a Redshift light, it shows up in here too. And I can always just middle mouse drag, put it into that group. So now everything's highlighted. And I can move them around and do everything like that. Also, if you hit this over here, you have all your modeling settings. If I switch it over to animation, you have other tools up here for animation. So you can do some constraints and deformers, which I won't get into on this DVD. And there's also effects and rendering. In the render, this is the only way you can actually, is it? Let me see, modeling. Yeah, it is. If you hit rendering and you have render here, it's the only way you can do batch renders. Batch render over here. So yeah, but your main focus is just in the modeling over here. You get all the tools you can find to edit your geo. And also another thing you might want to know, let's say I mesh smooth and push this to like 4, and I press Shift-I to highlight and isolate. I didn't delete anything. Everything is still there. It's just it hides everything else away while you focus on just this object that you have selected. And if I was to click off of it and press Shift-I again, you're back in the scene. It's not the same as pressing Control H to hide stuff. So that actually hides it. You'll see in here it's hidden. And then if I press the object, select the object and press Shift-H, it will bring it back. So if I was to, and you see it's not hidden anymore, press Shift-I, those still aren't hidden, so the scene is still there. So if you were to render it, those things will pop up still. And you can, I believe that's the same command, and yes, still. So if I was to click off and press this button over here, isolate, select, it'll come back, click, isolate, select, it's the same thing. Oh, I can still have it highlighted and click again too, so it doesn't really matter if you click off of it or not. That's a good way if you have a big scene and you just want to focus on just that one, and press F to zoom into the object. It's a good way to work. And also another thing with the whole F, let's say I have all these selected and I press F, you see I'm rotating just around that. But then if I hide all these and I just want to select that, my rotation is still in the middle of where I had pressed F before. I'm going to have to reset that and press F on this object, and now the pivot point of the rotation is on that object. That is the outliner, and this other feature that you might want to know is Control, let's get to the verts, and I press a vertex here. Right now I can only work on one. If I press B, it's a soft select, and if I press B and hold down middle mouse drag out, you can see my brush size getting bigger, and it controls how much I want to pull with the soft select. So if I was to press it even bigger, you can see it's a gradient, pushes it off. I mean, it adds those other verts with it as well. If I was to make it really small just for those, it will just be working with that. So that is B. And I press B off of it again to get back to this single vert select. There you go. You can do that with double click over here. You can get all the options for your tools as well. And with everything, you can do that. So yeah, that's the basics of Maya. Again, you can dig more deep into it by watching more modeling focused DVDs, which I highly recommend doing.